Attendance tracking is on. Cool. Everything is turned on. It's great. Okay, let me share my screen and then let's start building the NFT contract today. Okay. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So let's directly jump into the IDE. Again, as I mentioned yesterday, it doesn't matter which IDE you use. You can use VS Code, Sublime, or anything you want. I'm using WebStorm because I'm comfortable with that. If you guys use VS Code, that's fine. Okay. So also one more thing, guys. There are some updates that I made for the React app. There were a couple of styles that I fixed. So I pushed everything to the GitHub repo. So all you have to do is you have to just git pull. Okay. The GitHub repo is shared by Dev, right? So a couple of days back. So you can use the same repo. Just make sure you do git pull. Okay, you'll get all the updated code. Okay, I'll show you what are the updates I made. So let me run the app. If you run the app, it will open up. So I just updated the background color, backgrounds, a bit of gradients in the background, and then made some updates on the card. Okay, so that it's kind of big, and then we would only get the minter form for now. Okay, because the output will be looking in OpenSea, right? So we don't need a separate page for that. So we'll just go with the minting form for now. Okay, so we'll be doing a couple of updates for this one today. Okay, along with the NFT contract, and tomorrow we'll connect with the contract. Okay. Okay, before that, let's start writing our contract. So let me clear everything here. Okay, let me stop the server, go back to root. Okay, I'm going to make a new directory. I'm going to call it as NFT minting contracts. Okay, and then I'm going to cd into that. Okay, now I'm inside we will host this project. Not sure about that, but tomorrow if we have some time, we can host it. Okay. So I'm inside NFT minting contract right now. It's very important to cd inside that. Okay. Now what we'll do is you have to type. Okay. Before that, let me just give you a quick introduction on hard hat. Okay. Before going into that, I'm going to just search for hard hat. I'll go to the first link, hard hat Ethereum development environment. So it's a Ethereum development environment for professionals. So that's what they say. So it's actually true. So it says the environment, right? So you have to focus on this word. So what it's doing is it's giving you an EVM based environment for your development purposes. Okay, that's what it's doing. So that's what the whole purpose of hard hat is. And hard hat is amazing because I was talking yesterday, it's really flexible, meaning it not only gives you this environment, but lets you build plugins upon that. Because many developers keep working with hard hat, they find something that's tedious, so they build plugins to make it simpler, and then they share it with the community as well. We'll be using some of this plugin today, and then we'll see how easy that makes to build and deploy contracts. Okay, and next thing is one of the reason why we at Nonsblocks or I personally like hard hat is its runtime environment. So it's so amazing that when you write your test cases, right? Because when you write smart contracts, test case is equally important. We won't be writing a test case today because that is out of scope of this workshop. But in general, whenever you write smart contracts, writing test case is equally important. Hard hat by default comes with Chai and Mocha setup. Okay, if you haven't heard of Chai and Mocha, it's like a testing library. Okay, on a JavaScript based testing library. So it comes with Chai and Mocha setup inbuilt out of the box. And then it also gives you this hard hat runtime environment. Okay, with types. Okay, this hard hat is really by default it is TypeScript supported. Okay, so it works well with TypeScript. And then it gives you this HRE, hard hat runtime environment, where you can deploy your contracts inside test case directly and then get the results. So it lets you simulate the EVM environment right inside the test case. So that's one of the amazing feature of hard hat. Okay, other than that, there are so many features that lets you do many complex contract events, capture the events emitted by the contract, run some process on that, and many more things. Okay, so if you start using hard hat for your project purposes, you will actually see how easy it makes you as a developer to work with smart contracts. Okay, so we'll see how to install this. To install, it's very simple. It's really simple. All you have to do is npx hard hat. That's it. Just 2 words. If you hit enter, if you don't have RAT installed in your system, it will ask you whether or not to install it. Just click on yes, okay, or hit enter. If you already have it, it will just directly starts creating a project. So I'll click on I'll write npx RAT and then hit enter. Okay, now since I already have RAT, it's directly started it. But if you don't have it, it will ask you RAT is not found. Do you like to install it? Just type while and then hit enter. Okay, and then it is asking you a few more things here. How can I zoom in? Anybody have any idea how can I zoom into this terminal here? Okay, resize, stretch. Okay, it's just going up. No problem. So I hope you guys can see this, but it's actually asking me like, what do I want to do? So it's asking me whether to create a JavaScript project or to create a TypeScript project. Since we are working with JavaScript, we'll go with JavaScript project. I'll hit enter, and it's asking where to create it. So whether to create on NFT minting contracts. Since that's what we are actually working with right now, I'm gonna click enter, and then it's asking whether to add Git node. So if you are planning to push everything to GitHub, then just hit enter. Okay, and just keep hitting enter for every single prompt that is asked, and that's it. It will install every single thing. So it will take some time. So let's just wait for a few seconds. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Right. Do you guys have any questions, guys, about RAT right now? So it's still installing. So let's have a quick Q&A if you guys want. Okay, this might take even more time though. Installing. Okay, let me just drop the command here, npx RAT, and hit enter for everything. Okay, it's done. Okay, so it is set up right now. So project created, so everything is set up. So let's go inside our directory here and take a look at it. Oh, no. I don't know whether if I can zoom in and then show this to you guys though, but it's not actually letting me zoom in, like, increase the font or something. I can increase the font of the code here, but not the directory over here. See, it keeps on. Okay, no problem. Let's go inside contracts. So if you go inside contracts, you can see some of the directories here, right? You can see contracts. Node modules is something that we already have, right? For all node-based projects, we'll have node modules that you guys already know. And we have scripts and tests. So you can ignore this test because this is a test file. Okay, I'll just give you a quick demo here. So you can see we have fixtures. So fixtures is nothing but some utilities that you do before running a test case. So there are some more test case written here. So these are some of the config that the test case has done. So here you can see, right, we have ethers.get signer. So signer is something who signs the transaction. Okay, for every transaction that happens on the blockchain, one must sign it. Okay, or else it won't actually go and hit the transaction block. Okay, and then we have get contract factory. So this is like getting that contract. Okay, so by default, it gives you one contract that is called lock.sol. So if you go inside it, you can see we have some contract here, a basic contract that was generated by Hardhat. So that's what it's doing. So it's trying to test the whole lock contract. Okay, since we won't be using this lock, so I'm going to delete this lock contract. I'm going to delete the scripts folder as well. I delete the test folder as well. So right now we are just left with contracts, hardhat config.js file here, and then package.json and normal readme and everything. Okay, so why did we delete that? Because this is the base hardhat setup. It doesn't have anything, no plugin, no nothing. It's just base setup. Okay, now we'll be adding some plugins to make our development easier. Okay, the first thing that we'll do is we have to install hardhat deploy. Hardhat deploy. Okay, this is a plugin that lets us deploy, in a very easier format. So we write some scripts, we add some tags for it, and then we can call that tag from the CLI itself. Okay, And similarly, we use hard hat deploy ethers. So ethers is another library that helps us with the deployment and then Web3 setup and everything. Okay, we install these two libraries and then we install them. Hit enter. So we install everything. So let them install. Meanwhile, let me just give you a quick introduction on this hardhat.config.js file. It is really, really important because this is what defines the whole config of your hardhat setup. So you can define the networks, like which blockchain you have to work with. You can define which version of Solidity you want this project to use. Okay, you can define the accounts as well, which account you have to use to sign and everything. Okay, right now for this one, we'll be using let's say compilers and array. Okay, again, let me revert back. Let me do it from the first. So you'll be using around 2 to 3 version of Solidity here. Okay, so right now it's defined for 0.8.9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this, create an object, and then inside I'm going to say compilers. Okay, I create an array. Inside the array, I'll add an object. So I'm going to say version, okay, 0.8.0, another object, version 0.8.1. Let's add one more version, that is 0.8.2. Okay, now our project can only use these three versions, 0.8.0, 8.1, 8.2. Okay. And then we can also define networks. Since we decided that we'll be working with Polygon, right? We'll be working with Polygon testnet. So what we'll do is we'll say networks. Okay, networks, Mumbai. Since Mumbai is the testnet, we'll call it as Mumbai here. Okay, and then here we have to say URL. So URL is the RPC URL. So what exactly is RPC? Okay, what do you mean by RPC URL? So to connect with the blockchain, all right? Let's say let's just forget about blockchain right now. Let's just say I have a server deployed. Okay, I have a server deployed. So to interact with the server, I need the server URL, right? Let's say I'm sending some request. I'm making an API call. I need the endpoint, right? I need the API server URL to make an API call. Similarly, this blockchain node is deployed somewhere. Okay, this blockchain node is deployed somewhere. I need a URL to call that node. I mean, to interact with that node. That's what RPC URL is in blockchain. Okay, so the full form of RPC is remote procedure call. Okay, so we'll be doing that here. So to get this URL, you can go to since we are dealing with Mumbai testnet here, Polygon. What we can do is we can go to Matic Vigil RPC. Okay, so go to here, click on this one, rpc.maticvigil.com. This one. Okay, this will let you in. If you don't have an account, please create an account here. Okay, this will take a lot of time to show the result. Okay, I got the result here. So if you scroll down, you can see I already have URL created. But if you go here, you'll have a button where you can create a new URL. Just make sure you create a new URL. Okay, if I click on this, here is that. So it says mainnet RPC URL. We're not dealing with mainnet here because in mainnet we have to spend our money. So let's go with testnet. Okay, so this is a HTTPS URL and this is a WebSocket URL. Okay, we'll not use WebSocket, so we'll be using HTTPS URL. Okay, so we'll copy this here, come back to hard hat file here, paste it. Okay, and then we need the ID, chain ID. So chain ID is 8001. Okay, this is the chain ID of Mumbai testnet. So it is 8001. And then we need private key. Wait, not private key, but it should be signer or something. Let me check with my setup earlier that I made. Accounts. Yes, it's accounts. Accounts. Here you have to send your private key. So let me show you how to get your private key. So first thing that you guys have to do is you have to create an account in Metamask. Okay, Google Metamask, go here and then create an account and then make sure to install this in your Chrome browser or Firefox browser. Okay, please make sure to install this and then you'll get an extension like this. Okay, you'll get an extension like this. So here's my account one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, you can see my Metamask, right? Can you guys see my Metamask? Oh yeah, I can see it. Okay, now what you can do is you can see this account one here, right? You get this account page that you can see 3 dots here, right? So click on that 3 dot, click on account details. Again, three dots, account details. Okay, then click on export private key. Go inside that. Here it will ask you for MetaMask password. So I'm going to add my MetaMask password. So once you add that, you get the private key. Okay, so use that private key and then paste it here. Make sure it's an array of values. Okay, so if we paste the private key here and we're done with the network setup. So we have Mumbai network to work with. And this is very, very useful because let's say you have some contracts that have to be deployed on Binance and some contracts to be deployed on Ethereum, some contracts to be deployed on Polygon. So you can set up multiple networks here. Let's say I want to deploy on Binance, BSC. So I can add one more network here. Let's say I want to deploy on Ethereum. I'm going to say ETH. I can have one more here. Similarly, you can have multiple networks. Okay, so that's how simple this hardware config makes. And with this hardware deploy that we installed right now, it really helps us to call this Mumbai directly from CLI instead of running it manually. Okay, via a file or something. Okay. All right, cool. So now since we are only working with Mumbai, let's have only Mumbai here. And now next thing is named account. So we have to have accounts here. So named accounts is a very amazing initiative from Hardhat that lets you call this signer. So this is the account, right, that we're using. This is the signer that I'm using. So what I can do is I can say Mumbai dot wait, or I can say default. I think it's default. Yeah, deployer, sorry. So I can say deployer, and I think it's default 0. Default 0. Default 0. So now what this means is that the 0 is nothing but this address. Okay, the first address. So what it's saying is for every whenever you want to deploy your contract, we use this deployer address. So we'll actually see this being specified on the script that we write. So we write the contract and then we write a script to deploy it. So we'll actually see that. Okay, we'll actually see how are we going to use this deployer inside that script. Okay. So other than this, we are done with the hardware setup right now. Okay, so this is the simple hardware setup that we'll be using. And then there one more thing that we forgot is to add the plugins here. So remember we installed hardware deploy. So we have to just require it here, something like this. That's all. Now the plugins are added. Okay. All right. Now the only thing that we have to do is we have to go to package JSON file. Okay, so package JSON file you guys already know. We'll be using scripts. Okay, scripts. So we'll write deploy Mumbai. Okay, and then we have to write the command. So I'm going to say npx hardhat deploy network Mumbai. Okay. Remember we run in yarn start, yarn dev, and everything, right? So those commands work because we'll have a script. Okay, if you guys can see in my React application here, if I go to package JSON, you can see we have this script, right? Yarn start. That will run React scripts. Similarly, that's why it will actually, when you run yarn start, it will actually work. It will, the command will execute. Similarly, what we're trying to do is we're trying to write a script that is called deploy Mumbai. So we're deploying to Mumbai. That will run this command line. You can see here, right? This is CLI command, which is actually calling Mumbai. Where is Mumbai defined? In hardhat config. What is Mumbai? It is pointing to the Mumbai testnet. Okay, so you can see, right, hardhat deploy library makes it that simple and lets us write scripts and define CLI commands for everything. Okay, and yeah, let's write contract right now. Since the setup is done, it's time to write the contract. So here inside contract directory, I'm going to create a file and then I'm going to call it as nft.solve. Okay, nft.solve. Great. So now same thing, guys. So remember yesterday, the first thing that we started was pragma solidity, right? Which is solidity 0.8.0. Okay, cool. Now we'll say contract, okay? Contract, and what can we name this contract? Let's say Duo NFT. Duo NFT. Yeah. Okay. Duo NFT. And then right now we have to install one more what do you say, this one package here, that is Open Zeppelin. So we have to say yarn add at Open Zeppelin slash contracts. I think OpenZeppelin spelling is correct. Let me just Google once just to make sure it's actually correct. I don't think it was correct. So OpenZeppelin, I think someone asked this question before as well. So OpenZeppelin is an amazing, these are the like community, like these people actually exist with smart contracts. Like they give us some of the standard smart contracts that is tested and audited by experts, and then that is actually that is 100% sure it has no vulnerabilities or loopholes. Okay, so we can use their contract with 100% confidence. Okay, now we installed OpenZeppelin contract. So we'll be importing one of the contract, that is import. Okay, we write import here, and then we say at OpenZeppelin contract slash, I think it's token slash ERC721.sol. I think it's right. Let's just check the path. Yeah, it's correct. Just one more thing. That's it. So what's happening here is we are actually importing ERC721 standard. So NFTs are nothing but ERC721. Remember, I think I've mentioned this a couple of days back as well. So whenever you wanna if there are some things that many people have to adopt, like for example NFTs, you can see many people coming up with new NFTs, many platforms supporting NFTs, many platforms letting you mint NFTs, right? So these are all possible. Like many people are adopting this. It's possible because of the standard. So ERC stands for Ethereum request comments. Okay. So the thing is, Ethereum will release some of the standard contracts which can be supported by everyone. Okay. So NFTs comes under ERC 721. So the reason is if you can buy NFT for one platform and you can sell it in another platform, the way that is supported from two different platforms for same NFT is due to these standards. Okay, so these standards are tested, they are audited by experts, they don't have any loopholes, that's for sure. Okay, and then it is widely adopted. Okay, that's why we use standards here. And then if you want to build an NFT, it is required. Okay, it is 100% mandatory step to extend these standard contracts, or else your NFT won't be supported anywhere. Any platform won't accept your NFTs. Okay, if you want your NFTs to be accepted, then you have to make sure that your contract is extended or your contract adheres all the rules and regulations of these standard contracts. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll have our contract Duolearn NFT extends the ERC721. So I'm going to say to in like remember in class you do class name extends and the other class name, right? So we say is in instead of extends we say is here in Solidity, and then we say ERC721. Okay, now this dual NFT contract is is accepting all the rules and regulations from ERC 721. Okay, it is compatible with ERC 721. Okay, now we will write a constructor because we need to accept the name, right? We need a name for the dual NFT, right? This is just a contract name, but there is no NFT name and symbol. So we have to accept constructor. So here, remember the way we accept this one parameters. Memory, name, string, memory, symbol. Okay. Wait, where did this one go? Not sure why this is actually shouting, but that's fine. Okay. Now, whenever we deploy the contract, we have to provide name and symbol of our NFT, and then we will call ERC 721 contract here. Okay, from this one, we will call this here, and then we'll pass that name and NFT, name and symbol. Okay, so essentially what we're trying to do here is we can directly specify the name and symbol here, but when I'm trying to keep it dynamic. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So that whenever you deploy a contract, you can specify if you want a new name. Let's say right now we call this as Duolearn NFTs, and if I want to change it to Duo NFT next time I deploy it, I can do that. Okay, just to be like keep it dynamic. So once you do this, that will give you an NFT name. Okay, let's try to deploy this contract and check it out. Why is it throwing? Why is it having some linting issues? Even it's not giving me that expected colon. Really? Huh. This is weird. This shouldn't happen. Hmm. Let's just try to deploy then. Okay. So let's try to deploy script. So you can go to new, create a new directory called deploy. Again, this file folder name is really important, guys. You have to name it as deploy. Okay, and then we'll write a file name. So I personally follow this naming convention for deploy scripts. I usually start with the script number, that is 1 here, and then I put an underscore, and then I name this deploy script name, that is NFT. Okay, I'm deploying an NFT, so I'm going to name it as 01, that is script number, underscore the script name, and then I'm going to say .js or .ts in case of TypeScript. Okay, and here what we're going to do is we're going to say const function, okay, equals, I'm going to deploy this. Okay, we say const function and then deploy this. Okay, and then now we have to get some deployments and everything here. Yes, just 1 second. I'll be back. Just give me 1 second. All right, guys. Sorry for that. Let's continue. Okay, so we define a function here. Okay, no need to have a complex function name or a fancy function name or anything. Just function is fine. Okay, now then we export it. I'm going to say exports dot module equals func. I'm using the native native way of exporting here because there's no Babel setup here. But if you guys want, you can set up Babel and you can use ES ES6 features like import, export, and everything. Okay, and then I'm gonna also add a tag. Remember, I was mentioning something called tag. So this is what it is. So we'll say func dot tags. I think it should be tags equals an array of tags. Okay, so here I'm gonna say NFTs, or to be precise, I'm gonna say Duo NFT. So whenever I try to deploy this contract right now, I don't have to specify the script location or a script file name like 01NFT.js. I can just say Duo NFT. So the hard hat will determine which function I have to run, and then we're going to run that. Okay. Now let's try to write this function. So here it is const deployment. Okay, instead of deployment, first let's import HRE. So what is this HRE? Remember in the beginning of this session, I used to mention something called hard hat runtime environment. That's what we're doing. So for every function, you get an HRE. For every script, every deploy function, you get an HRE. So it will be injected by hard hat itself. So here you get deployments, and then get named accounts. Okay, so remember the get named accounts that you defined here, named accounts. So this will be injected to your scripts, and then deployments as well. Deployments is actually a function, some of the function that will be used to deploy your contract. Okay, now we'll get the named account as well outside. So first thing is what we'll do is I'm going to say const deployer. So deployer from get named accounts. Okay, deployer is coming from again here. Okay, here. All right, guys. So next thing we'll do is I'm gonna say deploy equals deployments. Again, deploy is a function, deploy is a value. Okay, the address. And now at last, okay, we have to mark this as async. Okay, we're gonna say await deploy. What is our NFT name? What is our NFT name here? Do NFT. So we'll copy this, we'll add it here, and then we pass some object. Okay, we pass some options here, that is logs. First thing is we have to get logs, right? So I'm going to say log true. so that we get everything, that all the logs that happens while deploying the contract. Okay. Next thing is we have to say from. From whom. Guys, one second. Some. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm really sorry, guys. I came home and there's a lot of disturbance here. It's really hard to either to get a to stay in a meeting or to get on a quick call or do this workshop. It's really hard. I'm really sorry for that. Okay, so as I was saying, so first thing is we get deployments and get named accounts from hardware environment. Okay, runtime environment, and then we get the deployer account that we defined on hard hat here. Okay, and you can name this anything. It's not like it should be deployed. It can be Pavan as well here. Okay, or you can name it anything. So I named it as deployer to keep it like a standard name. Okay, and then we get deploy function. Deploy function is we'll be using to deploy, and there are some more function as well. I think exec, I guess. Let's go inside this. Okay, there is another thing called execute or run or call. There are some more methods this deployments will return to you, which you can use to call a contract or execute a function inside the contract directly inside the script. Okay, right now we're deploying the contract, so we'll keep it deployed. And we are actually asking the hardware to show us all the logs that happens, and then we have the deployer. We are deploying from the deployer account, and then we'll say args. Okay, so this is the arguments that we'll be passing. What are the arguments that we need? We need a name and a symbol. So we'll say name would be Duo NFT, and the symbol I'll keep it DNT. Okay, so now, and this should be it. So this should deploy everything, I guess. Yep, my notes is according to my notes, it should be it. Yeah, cool then. So let's try to deploy right now, since the whole script is created and we are tagging it with Duo NFT. So all we have to do is you have to say yarn deploy :Mumbai. Remember we had this script defined on package JSON file, right? Deploy :Mumbai, and then you have to do tags. Okay, hyphen tags Duo NFT. I'm gonna copy paste this whole code for you guys on chat. There you go, and then we just hit enter. So this will compile the contract, and then we get first issue. The thing is, it's saying this hard hat needs some more packages to run. Okay, the reason I didn't install anything in the beginning is because this will actually give me the list of everything. So now what we can do is we'll just copy the list. I'll be using yarn, that's why I'm just copying the package name. But if you're using npm, we can copy the whole code here. Okay, so we'll just copy this whole thing, and then we'll just say yarn add -b install this. So it needs some more packages to install and everything. So I didn't do it at the beginning because it will throw an error and give me the list of everything. So instead of me reminding everything, it will just remind me. So I just left it. Okay, so it will install everything. So let's just wait for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna just check chat real quick. Is this like Alchemy? Yes. Something like Alchemy. Alchemy or Morales doesn't provide now, but Alchemy or Infura, something like that. Right, is it done? So I'm going to copy paste the same code that I shared here again. There we go. And right, we got some issues. Let's check what's the issues. It says these files depend on different compatible version of Solidity. Open zapping is 8.1. Oh, okay. So now, since we're using this 721 here, 721 is actually depends on some more other contracts like address and everything, which are 8.1 above. So either I think maybe it will solve if you add this arrow here, and then if you try to deploy again. This version keep on changing, guys, so it's very hard to keep track of that. We got another issue. It says, oh, okay, here I have to add a semicolon here after the import. Damn, I forgot that. In JavaScript and TypeScript, don't have to add semicolon right now. It's very hard to keep track of the semicolons, man, seriously. Okay, so you can see it was compiled, but it was not deployed. That's weird. Why didn't it deploy? Very weird. Hadat deploy network Mumbai. It's actually correct. And we're sending the tags as well. Let me check my other script that I was actually practicing for this session. Oh, okay. It should be at the end. Cool, cool, cool. That's great. It should be here. Now, if I run from the same command, it should actually deploy everything. Again, what's up with this? It's actually compiling everything, but it's not deploying. And it's actually using artifacts and cache. So this should not appear. It should appear like this one. What do you say? Deployments folder. Let me check back my other setup. Add config. We were able to add this whole thing. Named accounts, yes, we were able to do that. Let's go to deploy script. We were able to deploy. Yep, everything is set up properly. Package JSON file, deploy Mumbai, hard hat network Mumbai, deploy. It is correctly done. Contracts, NFT also it's correct. See, we should get something like this, a deployment folder. I'm not sure why we're not getting. Let's check deployment again. Skip if already deployed true from deployer. Everything seems to be fine though. Let me copy this again and then come back here. NFT.js, paste it here. Okay, let's check now. This is weird, pretty weird. It's not taking anything. Function.tags, it is correct. Function.tags, yep. Are we closing the function? Yes, we are. Deployments, HRE, deployments. Oh, wait. Okay. This is actually await. This is promisify. Okay. One other thing that, okay, another, again, it's saying nothing to compile. Okay, it seems like it's not detecting my NFT contract. Duo NFT, or let me just name this as only NFT and check it because the file name is NFT here. This should not happen actually. Not sure what's happening here, but I just tested this setup before coming to this workshop. It actually worked. There might be some tiny thing that we are missing here. Some tiny thing. Let's just check hard at config from my other setup. Mumbai URL chain ID accounts seems to be fine. Are you guys able to find out any issues? Let me know. Okay. This is bad. This is really bad. Deployer, deployments from deployer. To NFT, TNT, to NFT. Or is it saying that this contract doesn't have much to compile or something maybe? Or is it not worth to deploy as well? Is that the case? Weird. Okay, cool. So let's just try to debug this because without this deployment, we won't be able to, even if we write the contract, it won't be any useful because since we're not able to deploy this. Let's just re-verify the deployment script. Seems to be fine. Let me check the names of this accounts, deployments accounts, deploy. It's actually correct. FD Deployments, test, we don't need it. Can someone find out, any idea, guys, what might be the issue here? Can someone find out if anything, are we missing out anything? Is it possible? Hmm. Hmm. Deploy script.func is not a function, but okay. It says inside my NFT script, is exports module export. Is this correct? Okay. I made a very silly mistake. It should be module.exports. That's great. That's great. That's really great. Okay. Now deployments is not a function. Okay. Cool. We're getting some issues here. So I think there are some spelling mistake here. Let's just check. Copy this, paste it here. Okay. Let's just run it. Okay. I think it's not a function. It should be just a value, something like this. All right. Now it's deploying. Great. Just a simple mistake. That's cool. It happens. Okay, now we can see here, we're able to deploy Duo NFT. I'm not able to zoom in this terminal. I have no idea why, but I hope you guys can see the transaction hash here. So let's copy this transaction hash, go to Mumbai testnet. So here we go, Polygon scan Mumbai. So let me copy paste this hash here. Let's see what happens. So you can see it is still actually indexing it. Okay, it's going to take a bit of time to show the result. But you can see we were able to deploy and then we were able to get the contact address here right from the terminal. So we copy this. Let's try to refresh this. Okay, it's still loading. The same thing appears even if you try to search the address as well. Okay, so the contract is deployed, but since it's still indexing, you won't get any updates here. Once it is indexed, it's going to give you the values. Okay, see if it's still indexing. So let's come back after some time. But for now, this is how we can set up and deploy using Hardhat. Okay, so I'm really sorry for this mistake, guys. I have no idea why I did that. Maybe because since we usually use exports using ES6 feature, I forgot about this. It should be module.exports. Instead, I used exports.module. I just reversed it. Really sorry for that. But you can see, right, this is how it makes it really simple. So let's say, as I was saying, right, let's say you have multiple chains to deploy. Let's say along with Mumbai, you have like BSC, Ethereum, and other chain as well. So, and then you have a couple of scripts that needs to be deployed to BSC. Let's say you have around 5 scripts or around 5 contracts that needs to be deployed to BSC. So instead of calling one by one with tags, okay, what you can do is you can add one more tag here. You can say BSC. So, and you can directly run this command, okay, with BSC here. That will actually detect all those list of contracts that is tagged with BSC and deploy each and everything one by one. Okay, and so that you don't have to deploy one by one, you can deploy all together in batch. And this also lets you add one more thing that's called dependencies. So let's say this contract depends on another contract. So when you have dependency here, let's say contract A. So let's say this contract depends on contract A. So what Hardhat will do is first it will check whether contract A is deployed or not. If it's not deployed, it will deploy that first before deploying this. So you don't have to personally check that and then redeploy that and come back here. Hardhat will do that for you. Just have to run this one command. So that's how simple Hardhat makes for development and deployment purposes. Okay. So now let's go to a contract and finish up the NFT contract. It's already late though. I don't know why we took so much time this way. Okay. All right. So now we were able to deploy this, and now let's come back to our main functionality. That is, so there are things that we have to take care in this ERC 721. So initially, it was really simple. Before 0.8.0, ERC 721 was really simple. It used to give you all the functions. You just have to write only this much. That's all. If you write these 4 lines of code, you have yourself an NFT contract. That's how it was before. But now they made it some more flexible, and then they made it lightweight. So you have to take care of little bit things. So first thing is metadata. Remember, if you, let me just show you a simple NFT, OpenSea should be. So if I go into OpenSea, right, this is actually one of the NFT that we minted on our company. So you can see this is an NFT, and then we have some of the traits here, right? You can see we have mini, shiny, and then we have the description here. Not this one, not this one. Chumbi, chumbi, chumbi. Let's say 4, because we have this amazing, what? 4, just 4. Yeah, here we go. So we have this NFT here, right? You can see we have this description here. Okay, and then we have a lot of properties here, right? And then we have levels, then we have some details as well regarding that. So these are called metadata, okay, details of an NFT. So how to store these details of an NFT on blockchain? Using token URI. So in the contract, we call this as URI. Okay, so for that, initially ESS 121 had this support for that, but right now they removed it. So we'll be storing that. So we'll use mapping for that. We'll say event, and then we map it with string. Okay, we'll be storing that will be a string that will be mapped with token ID. Okay, token is nothing but NFT ID. So that will be private because we don't want public to access this. Okay, it will be private, and then we here will say token URI or URI. Capital letter U, that should be fine. Okay, private. It will be private. Okay, and next thing is we'll have a function. Okay, that is that will help us to set this URI. Okay, that will help us to set a new token URI. So I'm going to say set token URI. If you ask me why I'm using underscore here, it's like one of the functions that we use. It's one of the standard that we follow for internal functions. Functions that are not exposed to the users outside public. We follow this standard, like defining with underscore and everything. It's completely optional, but I suggest you guys to try it. So I'm gonna name this as internal because I want only this contract to use this function, not outside public. Okay, this set token URI. Here we accept a string that will be on memory. It will be token URI. You can see here it's underscore, but there's no underscore here. Okay, that's how it is different. Okay, and then we'll say returns. Actually, it doesn't return anything. So here we'll also accept token ID. You went token ID, I capital. And then here what we'll do is, remember yesterday we used to do mapping. So we'll say token ID equals token URI. That's it. So now what we're trying to do is, actually this was actually part of ES721 before, now they removed it. So we're actually doing this ourselves. Okay, so now what we're trying to do is we're storing a map of URLs, that's a string, that's a token URI, and then we are setting them one by one. So you have to send the NFT ID and the URI that will be updated. And you might ask me, like, there are so many list of properties here. How are they storing it as a string? If that's your question, you will get an answer for that tomorrow. Okay, so there is something called IPFS. Remember, I was telling you that we'll be storing the data over there. So we'll be making a list of JSON object. Okay, list of the image link, the name of the NFT, the description of the NFT, and everything. We'll combine everything, make a JSON object, and then we'll make a JSON file, and then we'll store it on the IPFS. IPFS will give us a hash, a single string hash. That's what we'll be storing here. We'll be storing the hash here. Okay, with that hash, we can get all the NFT details. Okay, and now we'll call function mint, the long awaited function. That's mint. So mint is something that will actually mint your NFTs. Mint is nothing but adding data to blockchain. Okay, when you say mint in blockchain world, in blockchain ecosystem, mint stands for adding the data. Okay, so we'll be adding data whenever we call this mint function. So here we accept some of the values, that is string, wait, before string you have to accept the address. You have to accept address, recipient. Really hope I get this name right. No. Is this spelling correct? Recipient. God, man. So embarrassing, to be honest. Yeah, that's it. Cool. I got it correct right now. You went token ID. So we accept what's the token ID. And then we say string memory token URI. Okay. So we accept all these values, and then this will be public. So this function will be public, so public can actually mint it. Okay, and then we don't return anything. So here we call one more mint function. So ERC 721 exposes one function called mint. Mint. Remember, it's underscore. Why? Because it is an internal function. Okay. Mint will be exposed to public, so we're naming it as normal mint. But since this mint underscore mint is internal function, we have an underscore inside it. Okay. Now here we pass recipient and then the token ID. Okay. And we call set URI token that we defined here. And then for this, we're going to pass token URI. Okay. And then the token ID. This will update the NFT. So this will actually create your NFT, and this will update the metadata for it. Okay. And now at last we need one more function, that is to get the token ID. The token URI. So these OpenSea, right? It needs to get your NFT details, right? The image, the properties, and everything. So what we'll do is we'll write a function called token URI. Token URI. So this function actually exists inside 721. So we have to override it. Okay, so what we say is, we say override, okay, and then virtual. So these are two keywords of this function. So override and virtual defines that. Okay, first let me just talk about override. So override, I don't have to say, it's actually self-explanatory, right? So you are overriding a parent function. So parent here is the ERC 721. You're overriding a function, the same exact function called token URI. Okay, and this accepts the this one token ID as parameter. Okay, that will give you the token URI as the return. And then virtual is actually a like a access specifier that you define for a function. Remember, like define public and private, right? So when you define virtual, you are giving access for the child contract, that is a Duo NFT in this case, to override this function. Okay, it's like a permission. So parent here is ERC 721. ERC 721 has a function exactly named token URI. Okay, and it is defined as virtual, meaning it is giving this Duo NFT as the child contract to modify or override this function. Without virtual, you cannot override. You throw an error. Okay, with virtual, you can override it. Okay, and this returns a string. Returns a string memory. Okay, so here we return token URI underscore token URI token ID. Okay, so now we have this function that are ready to mint our NFTs. Okay, so now let's mint our NFTs. So I'll call the same function again. Before calling that function, make sure to delete this Mumbai. Okay, because this Mumbai is actually stored here. One of the best thing about hard hat, guys, one of the best thing about hard hat is, so let's say I made this update, right? I made this update, right? So it's actually going to reuse the same thing. Okay, but sometimes it's actually better, but sometimes it's not good. Okay, so let's say you're actually updating, adding some more details to your contract, then that's fine. You can reuse the same deployment and same contract address. But sometimes I feel like we need to redeploy again with a different address. But if you don't want, it's fine. Let's say I won't delete this. I'm going to run the command again, deploy Mumbai Duo NFT. So you can see it won't give me transaction hash right now. It will just say reusing the same deployment. Oh, wait, we have an issue here. Token URI. Right. It should be here. Now it should actually work. The function as override specified does not override anything. Huh. That is weird. Is this name correct? Let me remove this override then. I think we don't have to specify override though. Function relevant source path here across multiple lines. Okay, these are some of nothing but we can existing clearance. Oh, that's fine. From warnings though, but we can fix it later. Cool. Oh wait, we have some error as well. Visibility undefined. Wait. I think we have to override this, but we have to specify some modifiers as well. I thought of doing it later after deploying this contract, showing you some of the contracts a bit. But seems like we have to define some modifier. Let's define a modifier. Remember the modifier that we defined yesterday. So we say modifier. Okay, we accept token ID. Okay, and then we say require underscore exists. Okay, token ID. So exist is a method that is exported and function to exported from ES721. Okay, that will check whether the token ID exists or not. Okay, so we say ERC721 error, token ID not found. Okay, and then we semicolon, we return it. So we have to name it, right? Modifier is token exist. Okay, then we add this modifier for every single function here while setting a URI and then while getting the URI address. Is token exist. If this throws error, let's check with the old setup. I think there is something missing here. I might be missing something. Not sure about it. Oh, yes. We have to pass the token ID. Token ID. Token ID. Okay, now let's check it out. And this should be public as well. Maybe I'm missing out that public because this will be accessed by public people as well. Token URI. Let's check it out now. This should actually work. All right. So it keeps on saying this override doesn't mean anything here. Let me check with my other setup here. If I'm missing something, I might be missing something. Nope. Token URI public view. Oh, is this because of view that I missed view function here? View method here. Let's try. If this works, then everything should be correct. Function has override specifier but does not override anything. Is the function name? Oh yeah, it's a function name. It should be a capital here. Token URI. Ours is not capital. God, man, these things. Okay, now it's actually worked. There you go. It worked. And now we can see it's actually reusing the same address. So that's fine for now. We can use it. If I go back, if I search this here, it should actually update it. So you can see it's updated, but let's just try to delete this Mumbai in the deployment folder and try to deploy this again so that we can get a fresh new transaction, fresh new address. What? It's using again. How is it using it? Oh, artifacts in cache. Yeah, we have to delete this one as well. Now we should actually deploy a new one. Oh, I'm deleting another folder. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so this should actually deploy and then give us the transaction link. Okay, we got it. Let's go and check in Polyscan. Okay, it's updating it. Now let's just test it out once. Okay, let's test this whether the contract actually works or not. So to do that, we'll use Remix. So I'm going to show you how to debug with Remix right now. Because we have to verify the contract, and since we don't verify directly, it takes some bit of steps to do it. So let's just verify with Remix. So let's go to Remix. So what we can do is we'll copy. Wait. Oh, add a space. We'll copy the whole code here. We'll copy this whole code. Go back to Remix. We'll create a new contract. We'll say 5 ERC721, or let's say Duo NFT. Duo NFT.sol. Paste it here. Okay, so this should actually compile everything. Compile version was done. Only we don't have SPDX license. That's fine. We'll go to deploy. We'll deploy. Instead of deploying it, what you can do is copy this address, guys. Copy this address, and then make sure to switch to MetaMask so that you are in Polygon testnet. Okay, 8080001. Verify that with your hard hat config. 80001 here. Okay, and then just copy this here, address, paste it, and click on add address. So this will actually link to your address that you're deployed. Okay, so now let's test it out. Remember this function that we wrote? Hey, there is no mint function. Didn't we expose the mint function? Didn't we define it as public? Yeah, it is defined as public. Why didn't we get mint function? See, it is public, right? We should get it. Oh, did I deploy? Oh, okay. I didn't select the contract properly. It should be Duo NFT here. Let me delete this. I was actually worried what happened. It should be Duo NFT, and then I have to click on that address. So now we can see we got the same address. The address would be the same, and you can see we have mint function that we defined here. And then if you scroll down, you can see token Uri that we defined here. But what about these functions? Where are these functions coming from? So these are all the methods that is exposed from ESS 721. Okay, ESS 721 is exposing all these functions for us. So now let's check name and symbol. What was the name and symbol that we defined in our script? Duo NFT and then DNT, right? The name is Duo NFT, the symbol is DNT. So if I click on name, I have to zoom out again. Okay, it gives Duo NFT. Let me click on symbol. Let's check symbol. You can see DNT. So it was actually properly specified. So we got the name and symbol of our NFT. Okay, now let's mint an NFT. So right now we'll be minting it from Remix, but tomorrow we'll connect that to a React app and then we'll mint it from there. Okay, so I'm gonna copy my address as a recipient. So I'm minting it to my address. I'll add address here. Token ID would be 1. We'll start from 1. Okay, but token URI, we don't have any hash right now, right? So what I'm going to do is I have a hash already. I was using for some project. I'll use that. Tomorrow we'll see how to hash your own, metadata, images, and everything. Okay, so it should be something. Yeah, this one. I'm gonna copy this hash. Come back here. I'm gonna type IPFS hash. Sorry, // this hash. Click on transact. Okay, my MetaMask opens up. Again, I have to select high gas fee because I don't trust Polygon testnet. All right. So when this transaction confirms, we can actually go to OpenSea and then cross verify our NFT. Okay, we'll get a Chumbi NFT, but okay, it was transactions was successful. Now let's go and check at OpenSea. So I'm going to copy my contract address, go to OpenSea testnet. Okay, make sure the OpenSea is in testnet here. Okay, so we'll search for address here. It might take some time to index. OpenSea might take some time to index all the transactions. So we'll just keep on refreshing. Refresh again. Refresh again. Okay, let's give it some time. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, let me answer that. Why are you using yarn instead of npm? It's just preference. Okay. Back in, I think it was few years back, there was some issue that I was facing with. I don't know whether it was some of my issue or whether it was an npm issue, but yarn actually solved it in like 1 second. So at that particular moment, I really like yarn, so I started using yarn for throughout my whole development and everything. So it's just preference. There is no solid reason why we use yarn over npm. It's up to you guys. Okay. Why are we using tags? As I told you, right? The reason why we use that is to ease the deployment. We did this command, right? We can see tags do NFT. So this will help us to call multiple scripts together or run particular scripts right from CLI. Without this, what you have to specify the script name, you have to specify the directory of the script, the path of the script, and everything. So with this, it's very simple. You just specify tags. Hard hat will search the script for you. And if you have multiple scripts with the same tag, it will batch everything. And depending on the dependency level or all the priority level, it will execute every single thing with just one click. You don't have to enter and execute everything one by one. Okay. Let's go and check with this one right now. OpenSea. Oh, we got Duo NFT here. Let's click on that. Right. Duo NFT. We have one NFT minted. So let's go inside that. Right now, we don't have any image and everything because we have to refresh it. It takes even some more time to get the metadata. So we click on refresh metadata, and then we'll come back again. Okay, any more questions, guys? Infura, Alchemy, Morale, which is the best and user friendly? All three are best. All three are even best if you pay. To be honest, like the free tier they provide is not that good. Like let it be anyone. Morale is actually discontinued the node providers, so you have to use Infura or Alchemy. So, but Morale is amazing for events. So actually, yeah, I was actually thinking about taking another session, like a new bootcamp or something where I actually like introduce you guys to Morales. Like we write we'll write a smart contract which emits events. Right now we have events inside the smart contract, right? When you mint an NFT, transfer event is emitted. So I can actually show you guys how to use Morales, how to integrate Morales to your contracts, how to capture these events, and then add webhooks, your backend webhooks to Morales, so that whenever there is an event on contract, you get a live ping to your backend. So you can do real-time interaction as well, like real-time setup as well on your application with Morales. So I can actually show that. That's quite interesting, to be honest. I can have another. I can design. We can at Duolearn. I can talk to my team to design another workshop, and then give you guys this amazing curriculum where we look into some contracts and that integrate Morales, event-based contracts and everything. If that sounds fun, what do you guys think? Let's just check. Oh, okay, we got it. You can see here the metadata was refreshed. You can see we minted this creature neutral chumbi. Okay, and you can see we have this description. We have all these traits. We have levels and everything. So how was this possible? Because due to this IPFS hash. This was the IPFS hash we did for one of our client. So I just reused the same thing for this demo purposes. But tomorrow we'll be using the image that you guys upload. So you guys will be uploading it, right? With our UI, this UI. So let's say we are uploading Luffy image. So the Luffy image will appear here instead of this creature here. Okay, so we finished writing our NFT contract. We did look into hard hat setup. I know hard hat setup was kind of complex, but trust me, guys, it is really amazing. It might take a bit of time to get used to it, get everything up and running on hard hat. But once you do it, it's really amazing. Okay, and next thing is we were able to see all our list on OpenSea as well, which is a good thing because now, because another thing, guys, if you let's say you didn't use ERC 721. Okay, let's say you didn't use this one here. Okay, this one you didn't actually extend from ERC 721. If you did that, then this OpenSea wouldn't have recognized your NFTs. It won't pick up that. Okay, because it's not a standard, so it won't pick up that. These OpenSea or any other platforms, any marketplace, if you want to list your NFTs over there, you have to follow ERC 721. It is mandatory. Okay. All right, please do that. It will be helpful for another workshop format. Definitely. I'll just forward this, forward this request and this amazing idea to my team as well. Let's define and design a new workshop. Okay, the one thing that I personally feel, guys, I'll be honest with you guys right now. The one thing I personally feel is we try to do many things for you guys. We try to get many things up and running, plan many stuff. We try to check what others are doing, and then we try to find many points that are missing out in their boot camps, and then we try to implement that in ours. Only thing is, many people try to ignore this, and there are a lot that the appearance of the attendance is kind of low. People are trying to, since it's a free bootcamp, many people ignore it. So we're trying to come up with something like platform or something where you guys can have leaderboards, or where you guys can get many badges and everything for every bootcamp you attend. You can get some points to every bootcamp you attend. We're trying to do something like this, but let's see how that goes. But definitely we'll have another workshop on Morales, that's for sure. I'll definitely design a curriculum so that we can have an amazing session on Morales. Does IPFS Pinata does the same job? This is actually different. So IPFS is actually the concept, the peer-to-peer or decentralized storage, distributed storage actually. Pinata is one of the service provider that implements IPFS. IPFS is like a Git. Okay, you have Git, right? Git, what is Git? It is a system. But GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket are service providers who provide you Git services, right? Pinata is one of those things. Pinata is a service that provides IPFS for you. They pin your data, that's it. Okay, so with that said, so we are done with our contracts, guys. So I'll be pushing these contracts for you to my GitHub, to the GitHub that Dave shared, and you can access the contracts from there. Okay, and as we can see, we were able to deploy this. We were able to see on OpenSea as well. So tomorrow, let's connect this to our React app. Okay, And then let's deploy from your React app here. When you click on mint NFT here, it should actually deploy your NFT. I mean, it should mint your NFTs. Okay, and then that NFT should be visible over here. Okay, so if I come back here, you can actually see the list of NFTs would appear here. So this is our this will be our Duo NFT page. So the NFTs that you mint here would appear here. The list would appear here. Okay. Yeah, you can install Hard Hat and Truffle. There's no problem. Unless and until you try to use them together, there won't be any issues. That's fine. Okay, cool. So any other questions, guys? What is Chumbi? That's one of our client project, guys. That's one of the projects that we're working on. That's an NFT name, Chumbi. It's actually kind of cute though. They have around 4,000 plus NFTs, and all these NFTs are really nice. A cute little, creatures like that's kind of like a cat and a bat, but it's not a bat or a cat. It's kind of different. Pokemon, no, I wouldn't say Pokemon. You can actually check them out. Chimbivalley.com. Yeah. It's not a Pokemon. It kind of feels like it's a cat or like a like a Pikachu. Like you have this Pikachu in Pokemon, right? It kind of feels like same thing, but it's not. Also, they kind of appear like an eggs with ears, but it's not. Right. Cool. Can we use this code for React Native as well for front end? That's kind of tricky because I don't have much experience on React Native, but you can use a concept. The concepts are similar. Okay, the Web3 call, the Web3 setup and everything, but the code might be slightly different. So you have to just, Google that out by yourself. Okay, but the concepts are similar, like Web3 setup, calling the contract, estimating the gas, everything will be same. But the code might differ from React to React Native a little bit. You just have to Google that on, like that yourself. That's all. Okay. All right, guys, any more questions? I'll just stop sharing my screen though. No, I mean, we'll be calling today's code when we click on mint of content, right? Yeah, we'll be calling. That's what I was saying. Right now, the solidity says the same, that there's no interaction or integration between React Native and solidity. We'll be integrating the contract. So we'll have some libraries called Web3. So we'll be installing that. And then with the help of contact address, we'll be interacting with it. We won't be directly interacting solidity with React Native or React. We'll be interacting with the contact address. Okay. So the setup and everything might be similar to React, but there might be some slightly different. So you have to just take a look at it once. Okay. OpenZip implementation a little bit advanced to understand. No. Actually, it is kind of something like this. So OpenZip is a standard. Okay. I mean, they provide you. What they'll do is they'll take the standard contracts from Ethereum. They let their experts take a look at it. They audit that, and then they provide it for free for the community. Okay. So when we say open sapling contracts, it means that the contract is 100% tested. It is proven to be what do you say, secure. Okay, we can use it with confidence. So what we do is, you can actually, there are many providers like OpenZeppelin. There are many other alternatives as well. You can use that. But the only thing is here we're using ERC 721. That's the important part, because you have to have support for NFTs. Right? If you're deploying NFT, you want people to buy that. When people buy your NFT, it's like they can use it anywhere. Right? If you want to list it on OpenSea, OpenSea lists only ERC 721, 1155 based NFTs. Okay, only ERC 721 and then ERC 1155. Only these two NFTs. OpenSea only lists these two NFTs. So your contract should be compatible, okay, with these standards. That's the reason we use OpenZeppelin. Okay. And OpenZeppelin also provides some more other function as well along with that. That will help you out with the development as well. So that's why we use OpenZeppelin. Okay. I mean, if you are going through blockchain, if you wish to go through blockchain career, and if you try to build some more contracts, you will actually see OpenZeppelin as solution for everything. If you want to build DAO, OpenZeppelin has governance contract. If you want to build bridge, OpenZeppelin has a bridging contract. If you want to build security tokens, OpenZeppelin has security tokens as well. So OpenZeppelin has solution for everything. So it's very good to depend on OpenZeppelin for these type of standard contracts. So instead of React, if you use React Native, it must work like we like. We won't be using React tomorrow to interact with today's code. Actually, it must work the same way. Okay, but tomorrow we'll be using React. But if you're asking like whether the implementer, if I implement the same way, if I follow the same steps to implement on React Native, will it work the same way? Yes, it would. But you have to make sure that your Web3 setup is properly set up on React Native. Because we'll be doing a bit of setup tomorrow on React as well. So I don't know whether that is similar, if that same thing, if it is similar in React Native as well, but that's the only difference you have to take care. Okay, but other than that, everything will be same, whatever we'll be doing tomorrow. Okay. All right, guys, any more questions? It's already 8:22 today. Okay, it took a lot of time, though. Maybe we can wrap up if there's no question. Any more question, guys? No? It's great. All right. Thanks. Yeah, really. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining. Although it took some time, it took around 22 minutes after you guys were here. I'm really grateful for that, guys. Thank you so much. So, okay, we'll meet tomorrow. We'll try to integrate our React application with contract, and then we'll try to interact in the Mint NFT from our React application instead of Remix. Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Okay, don't forget to attend tomorrow, guys. I know it's weekend, but do not forget to attend tomorrow. So I'm hoping to see everyone tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.